This is a follow-up video to animating a camera object using Updeck and OBS Studio. In the last video we created a button in Updeck that expands the camera to full screen and rotates 180 degrees. And we press it again, moves the camera back towards the corner and shrinks it down, rotating back to 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's just press and hold the button while it says full screen. Tap the expand command and the gear icon to edit. I'm going to make the description a bit more specific, so it's going to be expand camera. And we're going to take out that rotation, so find that R equals 180 parameter. Use the trash can icon at the bottom right to delete it. And then save. And then tap the button and press and hold the button again to edit it. This is the command to shrink the camera down. So tap the shrink command and then the gear icon. Again, the description I'm going to make more specific, so it's shrink camera. I'm going to take out that R equals 0 rotation parameter. So trash can icon, delete that and save. So I connect Updeck again. We expand the camera and shrink it again, but we've taken out the rotation. So now I'm going to add in another scene item. Now typically this would be your game video. I'm just going to use an image for this demo. Default name image is fine as well. Okay, now I'm going to reuse the commands that we set up to expand and shrink the camera on this background, this image. So we need to set it up in the same way as the camera. So if we right click, go to the transform menu and then edit transform. I'm going to set positional alignment to center, so we're setting the pivot point to the center. And the bounding box type was scale to outer bounds. So now that both items are set up the same way, we can reuse commands that we set up previously. So we'll just reposition, just let this image snap to the corner. And then I'll click that lock icon just to lock it in place. Now the screen order here, image is on top, so if I drop it down, the image is now on layer 0. Camera's layer 1, so it's on top. So the idea is when I expand the camera, I'm going to shrink the image. And we expand the image, we'll shrink the camera. So what we're doing is we're just really switching the position and size of the two on-screen items. So let's press and hold the button again in Updeck. This is the button that expands the camera. So tap the expand camera command and then the gear icon to edit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to reuse this expand camera on the image. So let's use the first of the amber buttons at the bottom of the screen and copy this command. So I've copied this command, then we can just press the red X buttons just to cancel, come out of there. Tap the button in Updeck again, so we get to the button state that shrinks the camera. So if we press and hold the button now, we have the command to shrink the camera. So let's add in another command. This description is going to be expand image. Okay, now I'll use the amber paste button here to paste in the command that we just copied a moment ago. The only parameter we have to change is the item, because item is camera. So we're going to change that so the item is image. So if we save that, pressing the button shrinks the camera and expands the image at the same time. Now, as the image expands, we're going to have to drop it down to layer 0 so that it doesn't completely cover the camera. And the same goes for the camera. When the camera expands, we're going to drop it down to layer 0. So since the image is expanding here, we're going to add in another command that drops it to the bottom of the order. So let's hit the plus button again. Description, let's just call it relayer. Now the command is order. This changes the order of scene items in the scene. Now the parameters are the scene. And again, you can either use the scene name, which is home, or we can use the special scene name, which is underscore current. So it's scene equals underscore current. So that will use the current OBS scene. Item is going to be image. Now the animation was split into 20 steps, each step taking around 10 milliseconds. So the animation as a whole takes around 200 milliseconds. So halfway point would be around about 100 milliseconds. But since the animation is using ease out, it starts quickly and then it decelerates as it gets to the target position. So I'm going to pick 80 milliseconds. So that's just before the midway point of the animation. So I'm going to put in a delay here. Let's just say delay equals, we'll put in 80. So as the image is expanding, after 80 milliseconds, it's going to drop down below the camera. So the last parameter we can put in, we can just put in the layer number. We don't need a name for it, so we can just put in 0. So scene is current, the item is image. After a delay of 80 milliseconds, reset the order or the layer number to 0. So let's just save that and save again. Now if we press that button to get to the other state, now the button labelled full screen, this is the one that expands the camera. Let's press and hold again. So as we expand the camera, we're going to shrink the image. So let's cancel out of here. Let's go and copy the command that shrinks the camera. So tap the button again. So now that it says corner, the command in that button is going to shrink the camera down. So let's go and copy that command and we'll use it to shrink the image. So tap and hold that button. The shrink command is the one we want, so we'll tap that and then tap the gear icon. So we've got the shrink command, so let's copy using the amber copy button at the bottom. Quit out of here. Tap the button to get back to the expand camera button. Press and hold again. Now we're going to add in the command to shrink the image. So new command, we'll paste the shrink command that we've just copied. The description we'll put in as shrink image. And again, the parameter we have to change is item because item is camera, but it's the image item we want to shrink this time. So shrink item equals image. And we'll save that. Now again, because it's the camera that's expanding here, that's what we're going to drop down to layer 0. So again, we'll hit the plus button just to add in a new action or a new command. Again, description, let's just copy, let's call it relayer. The command is order because relayering is changing the order of the items in the scene. The parameter, scene equals current again. So scene equals underscore current. The item equals camera this time. We'll put in the same delay as before. So the delay is 80 milliseconds. And it's dropping down to layer 0. So basically behind everything else. So we'll save that. Connect up deck again. So when we press the button to expand the camera, after 80 milliseconds it should drop the camera down to behind the image as it's expanding. And the same goes for when they shrink the camera back down to the corner. As the image is expanding, the image should drop down to layer 0 so that it doesn't completely cover the camera. So now you can use multiple items in your scenes and switch the position and keep them all visible at the same time.